They really should have timed the subtitles to match the speed of what's happening. You done? Don't want you talking over me while I'm talking. Here we go. Alright. Greetings. It has been brought to my attention that there is some confusion as to the reason for the upcoming evening gala on Gull Island. I understand that some feel that such a celebration is frivolous, even misguided. Thank you for that. I understand that some feel that such celebration is frivolous, even misguided, in the aftermath of last night's events at Riverport University and the now present Wow, I added a word. Now present, steadily advancing fracture in time. These concerns are understandable, but they are missing the bigger picture. Monarch Solutions is now entering a phase in which its true purpose will be fulfilled. We have finally arrived at the moment for which we have spent years preparing. The purpose of the event is twofold. First of all, for those selected to be a part of the Lifeboat Project as scientists, technicians, support personnel, or in some other role, it will be important to see and hear Paul Serene. Continued confidence in the survival program is vital for the continued survival of Monarch and ultimately the human race itself. This is particularly important given recent events. We need to present a desirable and reassuring counterpoint to the sacrifices we've had to make. Naturally, not everybody at the party will be among the chosen few, so a certain degree of informational hygiene will be required. I trust you will ensure that those reporting to you are informed precisely to the degree necessary. Secondly, for all our autonomy and vast resources, Monarch is not functionally independent from the rest of society. In order for our plans to succeed, we will need the support and cooperation of the authorities and numerous business partners, even though they don't know our true goals. A demonstration of power and confidence, as well as certain judicious investments of currency and influence, will go a long way towards securing that support. Our PR blitz has been working well, but in order to maintain momentum, we must maintain an amicable relationship with Riverport's leadership. Our entire approach is based on the idea of Monarch stepping in to assist the authorities and being welcomed by citizens and city administration alike. Should the latter suddenly declare Monarch's help unwanted or unsanctioned, our entire strategy could collapse in just a few hours. That would be disastrous to our plans. In conclusion, this is a tremendously important event for the future of Monarch Solutions and for the future itself. If there are any questions, please don't hesitate to contact me, Martin Hatch. Alright, Martin. Okay. What's this guy doing? Oh, I see. He's like, his thing, and they're like, yeah, we got it, boss.
That's Admiral's office.
Alright, let's start here.
The Admiral had tried to warn Paul. The end of time was approaching quickly. Less than 24 hours away.
Mr. Serene believed it would take years to run its course. Admittedly, he was wrong.
To Soviet Admiral from Paul Serene. Date February 24th, 2013. Dream Journal 1. Sophia. As promised in our last session, I am now going to transcribe what I recall from my dreams. I still have doubts that this exercise will help alleviate my symptoms, but I'm willing to explore the idea further if you truly believe it in its merit. For someone who is not a medical doctor, let alone a mental health professional, you seem to take a great interest in my thoughts, not that I don't appreciate it. Here's my first attempt. I recall a haunting image of 7 red doors. Each door had a wrought iron handle that was dripping liquid metal onto the ground, creating a pool in the middle of the room. I looked down into the aqueous metallic glow at my feet to see my own glimmering reflection, revealing that I had aged half a lifetime. Startled, I looked back up to discover that only one door remained. Jack Joyce stood in front of it. The heat in the room was overwhelming. Jack was sweating profusely, his skin red and peeling open. He begged me to take him back home, but there was no door leading home. I opened the only door left and entered, discovering that we were back in the same room we had just exited. He refused to come to terms with this and opened the door again. I followed him over and over as he desperately opened the doors, forever leading us back to where we started. The heat grew and he howled in pain, begging to know why I made the other doors disappear, why there was only one path. He begged me to bring the other doors back. He begged me to take him home. The iron pool burst into flames. Jack screamed in agony. I grabbed him, told him that we needed to learn to endure the heat, to embrace the flame. I knew it would come to pass eventually, but the only way to survive it was to accept its inevitability. My body began to sway rapidly, dancing to the movement of the flames around me until my bones faded out of existence and I surrendered to the fire until we were one and the same. I was no longer one being in one place and time. My life force spread evenly across the flames until I was no longer an individual one body, but a grander shifting entity. I could feel Jack being consumed within my essence. I felt a power within the heat, a clarity of intent. I forgot about my desire to ever return from the flames, because the body that once desired to return was lost forever. I became the very thing that I entered, and it became me, a cyclical fury chasing itself over Ouroboros. I woke up in a cold sweat. I quickly wrote down words that positioned my mind in that moment. Delmore Schwartz was right. Time is the fire. Time is the fire in which we burn. With Jack Joyce in your custody, I thought it relevant to forward you a message you sent me years ago. Do not underestimate the significance he holds in your life. I understand your concern that he is reluctant to accept the inevitability of what is coming. However, when he sees the whole picture, he'll have no choice but to believe. We all had our doubts once. You showed us the light. Give him time. Projected fracture progression. We've looked at the preliminary data on the frequency and severity of the stutters and crunched the numbers, and the results are alarming. Our original projection, which gave us years until the fracture reached the point where time breaks down completely, does not match up with the progression of stutters we are experiencing. Put simply, the stutters are happening more and more frequently, clearly indicating that the Meyer-Joyce field is breaking down much faster than we thought. Taking the rate of acceleration, we can hypothesize that we might have as little as 24 hours until we reach the end of time, or the point at which time stops and no longer starts up again. We do not know why the original projection was wrong and why that data, which we do consider reliable, coming as it does from Mr. Serene, seems to entirely contradict our current findings. Regardless, the main issue seems clear. In order to achieve Monarch Solutions' stated goals, the Life Protocol must be activated ASAP. Alright, let me get a sip of water real quick. All this reading. CFR briefing. It's no exaggeration to say that the Chronon Field Regulator, or the CFR, is at the heart of all Monarch technology's advances. It has taken on a somewhat mythical quality, given its origins and the vital role it plays in the Lifeboat project. But in actuality, the CFR's applications are very practical. That's not to say the CFR hasn't had a course-altering impact on the work Monarch Solutions does. It's been hugely influential in the development of both the stutter-proofing technology that allows us to shield large areas from the effects of a zero state, enabling time to keep flowing within them, even as it stops everywhere else, as well as the smaller personalized application of the same technology, the portable Chronon harness that allows our soldiers and technicians to operate freely within stutters. I think of Dr. Henry Kim as the father of all this technology, and deservedly so, but for all of his brilliance, it was his dedication to uncovering the secrets of the CFR that allowed him to make his breakthroughs. Despite Dr. Kim's hard work, the CFR's functionality is still not fully understood. We have not been able to replicate the device. Having more than one of them would obviously be greatly advantageous to us, but we find ourselves in a precarious position where, in order to fully investigate it, we would have to take it apart. Given its immense power, such an undertaking would pose obvious risks. Perhaps even more important, there's no guarantee that we would be able to put it back together again, given that it's vital to our implementation of the Lifeboat Protocol. It's our policy to leave it intact. We do know, however, that the CFR can not only store an immense amount of Chronon particles, it can also tap into the Myers-Joyce field and, with great precision, manipulate it. It's this unique ability that our own Chronon technology replicates, albeit as far less control and efficiency. It's also what makes the Lifeboat Protocol a reality. By itself, our stutter-proofing technology is powerful and reliable, but its rate of Chronon particle consumption is high, and it increases at an alarming rate when we widen the volume of space the stutter-proofing covers. This would, on the face of it, make the stutter-proofing a very temporary solution indeed, one that could perhaps buy us some subjective weeks once we enter a permanent zero state, but which would ultimately only delay the inevitable. However, the CFR changes all that. When the permanent stutterproofing is installed on the lifeboat, indeed, the very stutterproofing that makes the lifeboat in the first place is directed by the CFR, the system becomes vastly more efficient. Our Chronon particle consumption is reduced to around 1% of what it otherwise would be. Given that chronon particles are hard to source, even at our ground zero installation, and our stockpiles are decidedly limited, this means that the CFR makes the difference between a lifeboat being a temporary stopgap solution or a very long-term undertaking that hopefully allows us to eventually find a solution to the end of time. And chronon disruption wave function subjects, aka shifters. Slide 1. Much of what we know about the shifters is theoretical. Based on observations made by Mr. Serene and the limited experimentation we have been able to conduct on the only subject we have managed to capture, they do not seem to have a stable physical presence. Rather, the data we are gathering appears to be fragmented and contradictory, as if there were countless versions of the subject occupying the same space. Our current theory is that they somehow exist in a persistent state of quantum superposition, or, to put it another way, with reference to the famous Schrodinger's cat thought experiment, the cat is both alive and dead at the same time. The full mechanics and implications of this exceeded our current understanding, but on a practical level, it seems to make them highly resistant to injury. It appears that even if the shifter encounters deadly force, it may kill one of its aspects, but because it exists as multiple iterations of itself, including iterations that were not killed by the force, it doesn't stop. Current theory suggests that the only way to stop a shifter is to cause its wave function to collapse from the superposition to a single eigenstate. In practical terms, the shifter must be affected with deadly force enough times for it to run out of healthy versions of itself. As such, direct confrontation with the shifter should be a last resort. Slide 2. Contact with the shifter is extremely dangerous. We know that they are essentially mobile repositories of vast amounts of chronon particles, and that they can only exist in the zero state, an area which has been depleted of chronon particles, typically by a fault in the Myers-Joyce field that encompasses the university. Colloquially, we refer to these as stutters in time. We also know that shifters are hostile to any source of chronon particles other than themselves within stutters, so any chronon-active individual within a stutter may find themselves targeted by shifters. It appears that movement in stutters, by which we mean the very movement of particles within the space in which time flows, not merely the movement of an individual, disturbs them, and they respond with considerable aggression. As discussed previously, shifters are extremely resistant to damage. They are also quite physically formidable, but their biggest threat is the distortion field around them. Its exact nature is unknown, but we know it warps the properties of the space surrounding them, exerting great physical stress and unpredictable forces on its surroundings. Again, in practical terms, though close proximity to a shifter may be fatal even if no actual physical contact takes place. Slide 3. The stunnerproofing technology Monarch Solutions has advanced offers solid protection against shifters. Time flows normally within a stutter-proofed area, so shifters simply cannot exist within them. Therefore, as long as stunnerproofing remains active, shifters are not a problem. However, shutterproofing of large outside areas is not feasible given our chronon particle budget, so we have developed other technology to defend against shifters, the chronon dampeners. Chronon dampener works by annihilating free-floating chronon particles within a specified area. As shifters' forms are hypersaturated with chronon particles, they cannot enter an area in which a chronon dampener is active without their wave function collapsing. Therefore, our operatives in the field have a solid portable defense against shifters. Our own technology is shielded against the dampener's effects, so activities in stutters undertaken by our strikers and other operatives are not hindered. However, as an unfortunate side effect, the dampeners have a crippling effect on individuals who are chronon active without the aid of technology. Accordingly, should Mr. Serene be present, you should always make him aware of your intentions before activating a dampener. You may rest assured that the dampener is not powerful enough to do actual physical harm to Mr. Serene, whose system constantly produces new chronon particles to replace the ones that are lost, but as the dampener's effects are unpleasant and the ever enervating, such as an encounter is likely to lead to an awkward conversation about future career prospects. Yes. Get yourself fired because you turned a thingy on and didn't tell the boss first. Alright, so we found... I'm pretty sure... I want to double check real quick. 96% discovered. Sweet! Let's see... 5 out of 8 ripples. 4 out of 9 intel. Chronon... Chronon sources 19 out of 60, documents 31 out of 61, computers 26 to 45, media 13 to 23. This is for the whole game, right? Yes, it is. Quantum Ripples, Intel, Chronon Sources, Missed One, Document Scooter Media. Oh, we got everything except for this, unfortunately, which was... Where's that little gray dot? Right here. Chronon Source, Gull Island Sign, Chronon Source, and whatever this one was. Darn. Alright, and then I don't have enough points. I have 1 point. Okay, we don't have enough points for that. Okay, so let's grab this doobobber.
That there looks like what Beth wanted. Oh, shit. Emerald's at the party. This stutter won't last. I better find a way out of here and get to the party.
Okay. Get to the party, he says. Can do. Okay. Get to the party. Where am I going? Out that door now. Now I get to go out that door. Cool. Excuse your TPS reports. There's a time... Where is that?
Quite expensive piece of tech you stole.
Bill me. I knew Beth's cover wouldn't last long. Had to get it to her at the party before it was too late.
Bill me. That's funny. Excuse me. Oh, wait. What am I doing? Well, this way. Act 3 Part 2, the Monarch Gala. Oh, there's all sorts of stuff to look at in here. And there's a thingy over this way. Oh no. What was the question? To Paul from Kara Avero. Paul, the Time Machine core has successfully been transported to the HQ and installed in the Monarch Time Machine frame on top floor of the tower. The crew is getting restless. They really need some insight into the next steps. I understand the details of your plan remain confidential for a reason, but any information you can give us would be extremely helpful. Kara, thank you for the update. We do not require the Time Machine to be activated in the near future, but from this point forward, I want technicians on standby. Our plan requires absolute control. That is what the machine represents. More than anything, we want to protect the machine from falling into the hands of our enemies. We have to deny them the opportunity to disrupt our plans. We may not be able to change the past, but if my travels have proven anything, it's that the past can help us better prepare for the steps to come. Those steps will be made clear to you very soon. Paul Serene. What are you doing, dude?
Oh, dude. Come on, you're at work.
Wow. Adventurous Religious Singles dating website. Adventurous Religious Singles, pure thrills for the pure of heart. Find your soulmate. Meet the one he meant for you. Abstain together and enjoy the tension. There's a room for all in the closet of the Lord. Right. Alright, where's this? Can I go down here and around the corner? Maybe it's upstairs? Not sure. What do you got here? Live representation. Located at Monarch HQ, access sealed until activated, completely star approved, maintained with chronon particles sourced from ground zero particle flow directed by the CFR. Twofold purpose, guarantees survival of the human race, find a way to restart time, limited capacity, personal choosing based on vital skills, complete discretion required, no, change of plans, Mr. H will give the LB activation prep speech instead of Mr. S. S will interrogate Joyce. I bet it's upstairs. Excuse me, lady.
we go.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, take a moment to hit that like button. If you haven't done so already, subscribe and hit that bell notification icon to stay up to date with all the new videos. As always, I enjoy and appreciate your comments, and if you could share my channel and videos on social media and across the internet, it would help, as it is your support that keeps this channel going. So, until next time everyone, as always, please, stay safe out there.